Hey, Shameless fans, I just want to let you know that you will never, ever in your life get a chicken. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
I'll give you guys a chicken.
Do you have a chicken?
Not currently.
Oh, okay.
But I will find
maybe
one.
tomorrow.
Go find it.
Yeah. Guys, full house tonight. We've got a special guest, which we will get to in a second. Introduce yourselves, please.
I'm back, Phil.
Short, sweet, and to the point, always. Thank you, Phil.
Hi, I'm Juliet. You can find me at Bonjour Juliet. Hello, everybody. My name is Raquel Harris, and you can follow me on all social media at Raquel Harris TV.
Raquel,
right.
nice to have you on the panel.
Yes,
Thank you for filling in.
Of course, I'm in love with this show, so this was the perfect fill-in show for me to be on.
Yeah,
so I'm
our
excited.
Chicago native, so we'll be looking for you.
So I'm not a Chicago native, but I went to
there.
school in Chicago. Yes,
Okay.
so you had it right. It doesn't matter. That's my second home, so yes.
Good. And then, guys, we have a special guest with us tonight. Ruby Modine is here, everybody. Ruby.
Hello.
Hello. Thanks for coming in.
Oh, yes, my name is Ruby Modine, and you can find me at Ruby Modine on Twitter and Instagram.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
You've already been fun watching the show, telling us all the little behind-the-scenes secrets. So thank you for that. We're gonna talk about the episode today, and go through everybody's storylines today, and then we'll talk to you just more about your character and your experience on Shameless and all that good stuff.
It was such a happy episode, right?
It was.
It was a really happy one.
Maybe
I'm
that's why we
waiting
have
for
energy.
something to sweep us, and all of a sudden we're gonna be crying.
Yeah.
Well, and you
Moving condition.
have said the last few weeks, like, oh, we're getting to that point. Like, we're at that point now where we should be,
It could have been Fiona when she ripped up the check. I was like, it could have been, but I'm like, oh, thank you.
I'm happy that she's pulling through though with the laundromat. I'm very happy that she's taking that challenge on and just saying, look, whatever you guys have to do, like you're judging me, but I'm gonna push through and I'm gonna make it happen. So I'm happy.
Do we like the way she's doing that though?
I mean, no, I don't like the way that she's doing it, but at the same time, I'm glad that she's taking things into her own hands and kind of just trying to have her own independence.
Mm-hmm.
And just just how she reacted to Lip saying like, you need to understand that I have my own identity, I have my own life, I want to do what I need to do for me, and I've been taking care of you guys for a very long time. I think I deserve it.
Right. What about even after all of the, costs of everything that was breaking in the laundromat, and kind of, being a little maybe irresponsible, realizing that she doesn't have any money left. I don't know where she's going to get it, or she's going to get it from Patsy's across the street and put herself into a big hole. What do we think about her,
Well, I don't know
money
if you-
situation?
I don't know if you guys talked about this, but first you kind of have to assess the business before you purchase a business.
For sure.
I think
For
that was a
sure.
big step that was missing
Yeah.
before we even start
Well,
repairing
and
stuff.
even Kev knew in Scenes from Next Week, like, you didn't get an inspection. And
Yeah.
Kev,
Right.
if Kev knew it, it's like,
Right.
wow.
So, but I do applaud her. Last week, I think it was last week, she had the line of, Gallagher's kind of rally, we don't give up,
Exactly.
when she was talking to Carl. And I was like, oh, that's why I was like, wait, so you're going to, for so long you've been kind of building yourself up, and at the first sign of,
Defeat.
Yeah.
almost, yeah.
you're going to give up? Come on.
Right.
So I appreciate her not quitting.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What do you think about that whole situation?
I'm surprised that she put the house on the line, but other than that, I think it's about time, and I totally support her. She's kicking ass right now.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally.
I mean, yeah, and Lip bit back so intensely about not
Yeah.
caring, and she really stood her ground. And now she's an owner of the laundromat, and she's the
Exactly.
manager of Wendell's,
Patsy's.
of Patsy's, so maybe the Gallaghers are coming into some serious cash.
Yeah, for sure.
That would be a totally different show.
That would be. Yeah,
Maybe
it
if
would
all
be.
of a sudden next season they were just like filthy rich.
Right.
Because
Right.
they own every laundromat in town. That's
Yeah,
like they made a
exactly.
fortune.
The thing is, they easily could be, because the way that they come up with finding ways to get money is remarkable. Like I've learned so much on how to just save money and make money through this show, seriously. And it's incredible that if they really wanted to put all their minds together, they could start a business on their own. And I think they really just
They're all
tell
over
the
the
writers.
place.
This is something we've
Tell the writers.
We've never really discussed this, but it does tie in. I think they're great at dishing out advice to each other.
Right.
Because Lip was the one who told Fiona this and that, and obviously, between the professor kind of pushing him, and then you're pushing him as well to, now go back to college, or at least have the option to go back to college. They never really want to take their own advice or get advice, but they're
Right.
great at giving it.
Well, they're all
They're
very stubborn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
very stubborn. I mean, we've seen it season, over and over again. And even with Ian, which we'll talk about a little later, like stubborn just about being a topper. Like, it's just everything. They're stubborn about everything.
Yeah.
But actually, someone today that wasn't very stubborn about his standing his ground was Frank. This was a totally different Frank that we saw today, at the end anyway.
Right.
So he actually takes Liam to school, which I thought was very responsible of him, that it wasn't just like,
but it sucks
figure it
because
out.
I think that he's, because I remember Deb saying, like, you just wait. You're going to see the real Frank, and then it's going to turn everything around, like how you view Frank. And I would hate for that to happen to Liam. For he just to kind
for
of
him to be crushed.
Yeah, because Frank's, he's always good. He has his good moments, and then he does something that's just 10 times worse, and then you're left kind of having to pick up the pieces. So I would hate for that to happen to Liam because he's the last one. So it's like he's the last hope too. So hopefully Frank can switch his life around permanently.
Or it starts out with where he is doing something for them kind of without realizing it, and then finds an opportunity through whatever he did for himself.
Exactly.
And then all of a sudden, it's like, how is he going to turn this private school for his benefit?
Right.
Is he going to be a teacher now? I mean, like, we saw him, teaching the kids how to break a chicken snack.
Yeah, it's true.
And then it's like, how are you getting in here, though, Frank? Like, where are the teachers?
I didn't even think of that. That's why I'm like, wow.
Well, first of all, why did they let him do that?
Yeah, how did you get in?
The teacher was sitting next to him. Did you see that? And I was like, he's just so afraid of him. Remember when he was walking the kids back to the car? He's just afraid of Frank. So I guess Frank can get away with anything because he's scared.
He's citywide known. So.
What do you think they're getting out of Liam being there? Why did they give Liam,
To
a
quiet
free
him.
ride?
I mean, Frank is a public figure at this point
Right.
for the homeless. Let's not forget, honestly.
Yeah.
Well, he just
Chicago.
burned that house down.
Well,
But yes, rest in peace, the homeless shelter.
Right.
They
That's
didn't go
true.
back to that. That's
You think they'll take those no homeless
I mean,
shelter
not only does
signs
he-
down?
Oh, probably, right? Or they'll write something lovely on them.
Right.
Yeah, but oh man, I lost my train of thought. It was
Sorry.
about Frank. Don't even worry about it. No, I was just because he's a public figure with the homeless shelter, but he's also a public figure as He's also a public figure with just being Frank Gallagher. Because if you've noticed, every person he encounters goes like, yes, I know who he is. Like, and they all know that he gets away with everything. Like, you remember the cop with the homeless shelter? She was like,
Right.
I understand who he is. I know that he, like, what he's capable of, but I'm not getting involved. Because at the end of the day, Frank kind of always
Screws up.
screws
gets
up, but
his way
wins
into
in a
things.
way.
Right. Yeah, definitely. He always has the last laugh.
Yeah.
Always.
Do you think Liam's gonna last long at that school? Like, personally, I really want him to. When he was saying, is this where I'm gonna learn math and science? And I was like, oh God, please go to school. Like, this is great.
I think he will. I think he might, because you were saying he's our last one. Maybe he's our little hope, because he's so sweet. He's so nice. I'm so happy he's talking finally this season.
Yes.
He
Oh my
looks so cute in
gosh.
his little uniform, and I do think he might be crushed later, because just when he went up to Frank and he was like, "You're a good dad," like, it's so sweet. But then Frank
chills again.
I know.
Do you think
I'm
there's
so
any
glad.
chance at all that Frank took that to heart and was like, oh, maybe I should really start helping
He
out?
took it to heart because
Yeah.
it was really sweet, because again, he's crossed off every single family member except for Liam. So you can see on his face he's very touched by it. But he is Frank Gallagher. I don't know how that emotion can trigger him changing this pattern of behavior he's put for so many years. You can't break that.
He's been crushed in the past too, like deeply crushed. You remember? And he's somehow regressed backwards too,
Yeah.
to
Right.
his old ways.
Well, and he did, even in the beginning of the episode, make a comment, and Liam said something, and he said, "You need me." That was like his line, and that's all he wants. He just wants to be needed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
because
put my
his family-
bet on Liam being the turnaround of Frank.
I think so too.
I'm hoping for that.
Yeah.
And he's gonna go to school and he's gonna become the greatest, most successful Gallagher
Right.
thus far.
I've learned not to trust Frank. You guys have a lot of hope, but I'm done.
Man, I'm done with them too. It's just those moments of like,
This is how abusive relationships start. Ladies, please.
oh no.
How many times do I have to say it? Don't do it. Don't do it.
I know. It's sad.
Sorry, Phil. It's okay.
I'm saying.
I know. I can see it in your eyes. You mean it, man.
I do.
We're just hoping for the best with Frank.
Yeah.
Well,
Frank.
you don't watch the show anymore to want them to, fail and continue to go down the same path. You continue to watch the show in hopes that one of them
Right.
finally turns
And
their
I
life
think they
around.
will, but it's not going to be Frank. Frank's,
Okay.
He's
You think
too
he's
far
too
gone.
old to change his ways?
Oh
Yes.
yeah. Okay. I agree, Phil.
Yeah.
I agree.
You can't teach an old dog new tricks.
Stubborn. He's the most stubborn of them all.
Yeah, and
using your
he
words.
has no limits too. That's the crazy thing about Frank, and that's the scary thing about him is that, like, just the fact that he'll go through just any way to get his point across, or to get money, or just to use someone. And I think it's scary because people like that actually do exist. And so a person like Frank being highlighted in the show is unimaginable, because you don't imagine that person to actually be a real life character.
Yeah, it's not humorous in real life.
Right,
Like,
exactly.
There's a humor to it on the show that makes you do what we all just did. Like,
Exactly.
oh, Frank.
Right, exactly. And it's on Chicago, especially in Chicago, it dealing with so many different violent acts, and their gun violence, and so many other controversial issues. And Frank really, I think he's definitely a symbol of all of that too. So
I do think Frank's a little different this season in a way, though. Even though we've seen, like, when he was living in the, the homeless shelter, and he had his own closet filled with drugs and stuff. Yeah. Usually, I feel like last season we were seeing him do drugs every episode, all the time, and we're not really seeing that this season. It's
right,
a little different. He's spent his time, still trying to do something for himself, but it's also been benefiting other people this entire time, at least.
And it seems like he's just slowing down too, just because of the whole liver situation. And I think that's kind of taking a toll on him too. Is that he's just trying to kind of slow down for himself, because he knows he can't do too much.
You think that'll come back? His liver issues?
I mean,
I think once you have a liver issue, it's kind
just
of
have them.
it's definitely gonna come back and bite you in the ass.
And then the medicine too, and that's. I definitely think so, and I think that the writers did a very good job with even just portraying Lip's alcoholism and him being addicted to it, because as I was watching it, I really didn't pay attention really to it until his professor was like, "You're a drunk. You need to get yourself together. Stop what you're doing right now and go to rehab." Mm-hmm. And I feel like the writers did a very good job of seamlessly putting that in, and it kind of, as Americans, I know drinking's kind of a pastime for us, and so maybe it's kind of normalized. I know, at least maybe for me watching it was, because I did not notice his route to being an alcoholic and him drinking every single day. I didn't even pay attention to that. I just kind of saw like Lip going through his trials and just trying to get through life and get through college, and being in a different experience. So the writers did a phenomenal job.
Well, let's talk about Lip a little bit now that we've brought him up. So he does see his professor again today. The professor comes back, which I was like, thank the Lord.
Yes.
Who else was happy about that?
I definitely was.
The professor was looking great.
Nice haircut. Yeah.
This is my first
Right, you did
comment.
react.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay. He was like all shaved up, looking nice and clean.
He was like, I gotta get my shit together too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe he has, a little bit more.
Yeah.
But he put in an appeal for Lip so that he can go, in front of the school board and try to get his, place back in school, or at least get his record expunged.
And how great is that? After, do you remember when Lip confronted him? He came to his class like really super drunk and really emotionally went off on him about how he didn't give a crap about him.
Right.
And everything. So
I think that's
like, a real show for Lip.
Exactly.
Like, there are people that do genuinely care about you. You're not always going to meet jerks.
And it sucks because
polite.
Right, exactly.
You don't have to be if you don't want to.
Yeah.
It's
Flip that off
Shameless
now.
after show.
Yeah, right now. Get ready, guys.
Well, and your character, Sierra, is pushing him to go back too. You're finally, in that scene, like, dude, just do it. Like, what is that going to hurt?
Right.
That's good.
And I think you even say to him, like, there's so many people that want to go to college, and you're just kind of like, okay, yeah.
Because he has an opportunity to go to college, and would he still be? No, he lost his grant. No. But yeah, it just comes down to it. It's like so many people want to go to college, and he's so smart. Just like, no.
It was really nice hearing your character say that. It reminded me, even like his past girlfriends also have always pushed him to do that. So
yeah,
I think that he's dated a lot of, obviously crazy girls, but I think that's one pattern. They've always pushed him to go to school. So
for sure.
Hopefully he'll listen to you.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm nervous about.
Okay, let's hear it. I'm excited.
The man of wisdom. Ready to go.
What's Lucas's dad's name?
Charlie.
Seeing that kind of happen, and I know kind of Lip in the moment perhaps doesn't want to be that, and I really hope that was an eye-opening moment for him, because she says, like, I saw the signs, but I chose to ignore them, and it's one of those moments, like, if you're Lip, you know, you take a big gulp of, like, wait, is she talking about me too? Is this like a forewarning of, like, don't fuck with me type of thing? Because as you guys talked about, he does have those tendencies. And she asked him when they're at the arcade, you know, do you have a problem? And he's like, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
You know, kind of brushes it off.
Right.
Whereas you think that he should have disclosed to her, like, well, I did go to rehab. Because he kind of just throws it away, right? He's like, I had a couple crazy nights in college.
Yeah.
It's a really good question. I wonder if he would have said, like, I've been to rehab, if she would have been like, the date is over. Probably not.
Didn't he say I was in rehab the first time they met?
Yes! Yes, he did.
Yeah.
My bad. You're very right.
That's why
Totally
that's
forgot about
like that was a funny scene though, because I was just kind of like, but that's literally the first thing he told your character.
I really like that they disclosed kind of the ugliest parts of them immediately. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not looking for anything serious. I have a really shitty ex-boyfriend, and I have a kid. And he's like, yeah, well, I just came out of rehab. It's like,
That's true. I
we're
did
a
forget that he
perfect
said that.
mess.
Yeah.
I guess maybe then her comment was more of like, do you still have a drinking problem?
Yeah.
And he really hasn't been.
Yeah, he's working super hard on it. He's
Yeah.
asking for water, and we haven't seen him drink that much on the show thus far.
You were getting pictures of beer on your date, and
Yeah.
he was getting water. Good for you. Good job.
Yes.
Did you find the name of that place downtown? It's an actual.
Didn't,
Is it
and I'm not
the
gonna take my phone
barcade
out.
place? There's a
think
barcade that's that I do know is downtown, and that's what it is. It's kind of like a mix between a Dave and Buster's, but then just like a bar and
No,
not.
this place didn't have a bar. This place was so gnarly and just was a room of like super old-fashioned, like old school
Classic,
video
yeah.
games. Yeah, like
Sweet.
I tripped out to Jeremy. It was like, oh my gosh, they have like Bowser on things. And everything.
Oh
Like,
man.
yeah, and the whole day consisted of he and I looking at all these really cool old school games, but there's no bar.
Who's actually
Okay.
better? You or him?
Excuse me? Oh, the video games?
Yes.
Me, of course.
All right.
That
There
was.
You could take that question a couple different ways, apparently.
I was like,
Well,
I really do.
I meant it on the
Jumping right
surface
in.
level of just the video games.
Oh God.
Where you guys take it from there, that's on you, not me.
Well, we're there now, people.
Yeah,
so
right.
let's get into it. Phil wasn't here last week, and so I didn't get to ask him. Juliet and I talked about it. Talked about Sierra's character. We come across the fact that she's a squirter, and I wanted to ask Phil.
If I'm a squirter, what?
No, ew, absolutely not. That was not my question. Have you ever encountered a squirter? Was my question.
No.
Damn, I was really hoping you said yes. That would have
He's
been
lying.
amazing.
He looked around. His eyes went bounced.
Am I? Okay.
Phil's a bad liar.
But
I
Sierra
think
brought
we'd
up a
know.
good point on there when she said you have to be completely comfortable, and I was like, that is like studies have shown that
Yeah.
women have to be completely comfortable and able to have that experience with someone. Obviously them being good, yes, but like, but yeah,
But friends, no one.
What'd you say?
So I think he's lying. I think maybe friends have witnessed that.
Huh?
What,
What?
Phil?
Friends?
What?
No, not with. I mean, like.
I'm like, so one more.
Okay, I'm
an
sorry.
awkward
Raise
combo.
your hand if you've seen a squirter in person.
No.
See? What?
Didn't he say it was like a unicorn or something? That you
It's
have
the
to
white
go-
whale.
The white
It's-
whale.
Yeah, it's the
It's the one
holy
in a
grail
million.
of.
Talk a little bit about filming that type of scene, and just it's probably a lot more professional than we're all thinking.
Yeah.
From in front of the TV screen, we're like, holy crap! Like, how is she getting through this right now?
It's easy to get through a scene like that, and I've told this to quite a few different people. I'm sure you've already seen it, but it's really easy to do a scene like that when you're working with somebody that is on such a height of professionalism that Jeremy is, and the studio and everyone that works on the set is so professional. It's a closed set. There's like a few people that are around, and like as soon as they yell cut, you cover yourself. It's not like, oh, okay, cut, let's just hang out.
yeah.
But
Right.
yeah, it was. I feel like saying it's easy is kind of not the right word, but it could be worse. I've heard horror stories from people that have done nudity, who have done sex scenes, and they're like, I will never do it again. But it's a blessing to work with somebody that has an understanding, like, this is your first time. with nudity. This is, you know, et cetera, et cetera. So you get through it.
I do think this is probably a good show for your first
time in
because
nudity, yeah.
everyone is naked almost every episode.
And they, by the way, when I first came to the table read, every single one of the female cast members came to me and was like, you know, you can text me, you can call me. It's going to be fine. It's going to be great.
That's
but,
nice.
you know, it's really nerve-wracking your first time. So it's about the support that you have on set.
Right.
And I appreciate it more than I could ever put into words.
Right. My
As
biggest
I roll my
question
eyes.
with those scenes is always, are you wearing anything on the bottom?
Yes.
Okay.
I always
Yeah.
think that. I'm like, I mean, maybe she doesn't because it looks so real. I mean, it
Yeah.
really does look so real. And then especially this one, obviously, because it came up and had, you know, a face full of whatever.
Sorry.
How did they do that? Did they cut and then it came back up and he was just like,
It's like a jelly. Yeah.
it wasn't hot in here before.
Right.
I know, I'm
Sure is now.
My face goes deep red. My apologies.
So how did your parents feel? Like when did you talk to them about that scene at all, or?
Well, I mean, as you guys know, I was a Shameless fan for years, and I was always talking to them about, you know, it's the graphic nature of the show. But once I booked it, there was a moment where I was just like, oh my gosh, I booked, like, Shameless. Oh my gosh, blah, blah, blah. And then days went by, and I was like, oh my gosh, I booked Shameless.
Right.
And I kind of gradually just started to tell my parents, like, especially my father, I was like, don't watch the show. I'll come
Right.
to you with scenes that I really am, like, proud of or that I really want you to see, but it's just, you guys noticed it could cut so fastly where, like, we're at Patsy's and then out of nowhere, like, you're just naked in bed with your legs open, and I just would feel awful for my brother, my father, even some of my aunts or uncles to be like, oh my gosh.
Well, your dad is an actor as well,
Right.
so he, I mean, probably does understand, you know,
Yeah.
might not want to see it still, but like
You know what I mean?
understands what
Yeah.
you're doing and why you're doing it, and you know how it's a great move for your career, you know, whatever. So
Yeah.
they're
all
that's a good
very
thing.
supportive. They're all over the moon excited, but it's just come down to me going, like, to my brother and my dad, don't watch it. Allow me to send you scenes.
Yeah, it's amazing.
makes
I
sense.
like how raw the show is, though,
Yes.
because of that. Just showing how humans actually are in real life. So you wind up coming off work and then having sex, and then you're naked, and then it just jumps. That's like actually how life is. So I like that the show is very authentic and raw in that sense.
Yeah,
So.
for sure. My parents have been on the show. They sat on the couch. We brought them in one time because they watch, and then they watch because I do this after show.
Oh my God.
But then they got my grandma into it.
Oh.
It's hysterical because she'll call me and be like, oh my God, when Svetlana and V started hooking up, she'll be like, oh my God, and now they're doing this, and now they're doing that. But I think a lot of, you know, adults and everybody relates to this show somehow. So it's fun. But yeah, that would be a little awkward.
Yeah.
Just a little.
Just a little bit.
I can barely post like cleavage, any type of cleavage on Instagram, and my parents were just like, "Oh my God, what are you doing? You need to take that down. Do you know who?" Like my parents, and they're like it's just crazy, and I'm just like, "It's okay. It's 2016. It happens."
Empowerment.
Yeah, right,
Female
exactly.
empowerment. How about Trevor this episode? Female empowerment.
I like the Lip kind of making the situation awkward.
Staring at his
Oh my
junk.
gosh, he stared right at his crotch.
The whole time.
I was like,
The whole time,
Lip,
just like-
jeez.
Yeah.
It was funny though, especially when he was like, "Oh, so you dumped the lady
woman-
with
yeah,
the,
yeah,
or
he
the,
was
the
like-
man
lady
with the
man.
female parts or whatever," and he was like, "Actually,
That's this
Right here,
Trevor.
right next to you.
oh boy, has that ever happened to you where you've had to bite your tongue like really bad?"
Oh my gosh, it happens all the time. I put my foot in my mouth almost every single day.
Those situations are so you're like, "Oh God, why did I have to do that
Not
again?"
to that degree, though. I'll
Right.
say that. You know, like, I mean,
That one was pretty bad.
your brother comes down with somebody that he's clearly been sleeping with. It's like, hey, I know that you were here with somebody else the other day. You know, what happened to him? It's like, really? In any circumstance, you go to your brother and go like, don't like put that on like just
Right.
open display.
Right.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
So that was awkward with him staring at his at his junk, but I did like how Trevor then turned it around on him and said, "Oh well, Ian's still learning, so maybe he can educate you."
Yeah, that's sweet.
Yeah, exactly.
I
And
liked
that-
when he said you look real. He's like, you do too.
right. And it just it does open up that conversation of like the ignorance that a lot of Americans have when it comes to trans gender people. And I think I'm very happy because it's interesting that Ian had an issue with I forget his name, with his ex being bi. And now he's dating. So he had an issue with Caleb being bi, but now he's dating a trans man, and so just that dynamic altogether, that was just crazy for me when I first watched, because I was like, oh wow, okay,
That was
so
a big leap.
yeah, that was a huge leap. And so, but I was discussing before, I'm glad that they're talking about more LGBTQ issues and topics and like
100%.
normalizing it. Yeah, because
Because it shouldn't be behind a closed door. It shouldn't be
Exactly.
something that's whispered about, or
it's
Right.
shameless.
yeah.
Well, and I know you've gotten in trouble on Twitter for talking about this relationship and saying that you think
Yeah.
it's good for Ian.
And I'm gonna say it on your show too.
Yeah.
Team Ian and Trevor.
Yeah.
Yes,
at me.
exactly.
No, and I told you we've gotten in trouble too, but we like to see the best for Ian, and so when somebody
Yeah.
comes around when they're, they do have a good relationship, we like to see it, even if it's not Mickey.
I know.
Right?
Oh, uh-oh.
Oh no.
To be fair, Mickey is the world's worst human being.
Oh my God.
Come on!
I mean,
Failure screwed.
no, yeah. I mean, I like one of my favorite things that I remember of Mickey's was him leaving his house and being like, I've got to run an errand. So if you're gonna come with me, you have to walk. And it was Lip and Fiona, and he walked to a house, and his errand was beating the shit out of somebody and screaming at his wife, and then being like, "Okay, I'm going back home now." I was like,
Oh, right.
"Oh, that was frightening."
But see, he's the epitome of a closed door homosexual, and his story is so different from Ian's, and I'm glad that they highlight two different perspectives of the gay community. Like, it's amazing, and that's why I love seeing Mickey and Ian go on their journey together, because Ian's like, look, I need you to be out, I need you to just
Yeah.
accept it, and just let this be you. It's you. And on top of that, he's a bottom, which surprised me. Because I would have thought Mickey would have been the top. I didn't
I
obviously
didn't think that far into anything.
See, well,
I have to say though, I do love Mickey though. I mean,
Yeah.
as
Oh,
well,
I think
like,
we all did.
yeah,
It's an awesome relationship.
It's just a situation of like life moves forward, and you will encounter. I mean, unless you get married and all that, but I
Right.
mean, you're going to encounter other relationships. You're going to move on with other people.
And that was his
Exactly.
first
And
love.
I feel like they
Yeah.
should. Yeah, exactly. As was Mandy for Lip, but it's,
we may see Mickey
Trevor
again.
is amazing. Yeah, Trevor's an amazing, smart, understanding, patient person, which I think is really important for any of the Gallaghers, for
Yeah.
that matter.
and he knows how to find humor within his own situation.
Exactly.
And that's
and stand up for himself. He's
Yes.
yeah, it's
absolutely
Right,
I
exactly.
did like. You're gonna pick out that one. That one's like half the size of the ones I got home.
That's even
Yeah.
funnier when he said, "I don't want to use cock in my ass or whatever." he
He's
said.
like,
And
oh
he's
yeah,
like,
I'm dealing with you.
yeah, he's like, "Oh, that's exactly what I'm getting." Like,
Right.
that was really funny.
And Ian's so
I
arrogant.
screamed. I think I did, didn't I? I was like, burn.
Yeah.
Exactly. And well, and Ian was like, "Wow, these look so realistic," which is pretty much my thought. Like when I've been in there, but I was at the sex toy store like a couple months ago because I was planning a bachelorette party. So I went in to get some whatever. I think I bought a dick lollipop and some other stuff. But you look at them and you're like, who in the hell
Yeah.
is picking this thing up and using it? It's like
But
flopping
somebody
all over
is,
the
right?
place. Somebody is, and they're like $80, and I'm like, oh my god, that's my week worth
Right.
of groceries. And
I saw a
Right.
video.
Someone's buying a dick.
I saw a video on Instagram of this woman coming into her room, and her son had her dildo, and it was. No, I'm not exaggerating. It was like this big, and it was what you were saying. It was like flopping around. She just runs to him. She's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "What is that?"
but like, who physically can?
I don't even want to go that far into
Yeah.
thinking about it.
I think people just have high hopes. They have really big dreams.
People are into
Big
some
dreams.
freaky
Right,
stuff.
literally.
People are
No
into
pun
some
intended.
freaky stuff.
I went to a store as well, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
They have the ones, not to get too graphic, that literally look just like this. It's like
And the
half a
way-
forearm,
It's
and
so-
the arm's like this, and you're like, oh, really? Yeah, because this is the first thing I'm buying when I go to the sex toy store.
It's
Oh,
insane.
God.
They have masks. Like they have.
Thank you, Ian and Trevor, for this conversation.
Right.
Great
Hashtag
plug to the
shameless.
sex shop.
Exactly.
Support your local sex shop.
Right,
That's
because
right.
Hollywood and
Don't act like you've never seen them. Or you've never
Don't
been in
use
one.
them.
Don't
I
act.
don't think you've ever used them.
I've no-
Yes, Juliet, yes.
Oh,
I kind of feel
God.
bad he's outnumbered. We can
Oh,
all
That's
make
why,
fun of
that's
you.
why it's so
I
fun.
know.
That's why it's so fun. Yeah, he gets beat down every week, and you like it. It's fine.
Good.
It's fine.
He's like, I have nothing to say on this topic.
Okay, so I'm gonna jump right back into the show now. Do we think Svetlana killed that guy? Let's talk about that.
I hope so.
Okay, so Kev v.
hope so?
Svetlana, we've got this weird situation going on.
Okay,
The-
how much has she lied thus
the
far
throuple.
this season?
Yeah.
Let's because when I was watching tonight's episode, when she came in and she looked like that, and she just like kind of didn't want to talk about it, I was like,
Yeah.
It was a little sketchy.
a little bit.
It sucks though, because she's probably had to live her entire life like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's like, because I love Svetlana, and like, so
Oh.
when I watch her, especially because at first I hated her, and now, yeah. At first, it was like, okay, I don't know how I feel about you, but you really just want the best interest for your kid, for your life, and you've earned, in her own mind, you've earned
Yeah.
what it is to be successful in America. So I'm like rooting for her. I want her to be like an amazing person, but at the same time, with all the lies, it's like, okay, you're this close to just, yeah.
She's just really strong too.
Well, and
She's like
yeah,
a really strong
she
woman.
is.
And V even today though was talking about her trust issues now with Svetlana, almost not even wanting, doesn't want to have sex with her anymore because she
But
can't
it
trust
does.
her. But yeah, she gets over that real quick.
I'm sorry, sidebar, but Kev was so funny tonight with everything, with
Yeah.
the dishes.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna act like I'm putting back clean dishes.
Yeah, clean dish. And then looking around, was there always blood on this knife?
Yeah.
And we always had rat poison. And then to the bed, that was.
Oh,
He was
the,
so
or in the
funny.
back when he was like, "Where's my tarp?"
Yeah, exactly.
tarp and duct tape.
I would be the same way.
Sorry,
though.
sidebar.
No, that's great.
I don't think that she killed him, and here's why. Because I feel like she is so shameless and she is so strong that if she would have said it. I feel like everything that's
Right?
like,
She was avoiding it. Like
she was
answering the
avoiding
question.
it, but I
Yeah.
think that if she had killed him, she'd be like, yeah, I killed him, because she's
She's already like that.
yeah. so
Okay,
she
do you
is.
think she faked it?
No, I think they got in like a very bloody fight, and now he's gone, she's done, and that's how she is. She's like, I've moved on this problem. We're past this problem.
But he knows
Move on
where
to
she
something else.
lives.
I know. I'm like,
So would it be safe if she didn't kill him?
there's something else in me that's like, it's not over. Like,
Yeah.
there's,
Definitely not over.
There's
Yeah.
something else where if he's not dead,
We're not
like
gonna hear
she's
the end of
not
it.
telling us the whole story because that whole story is not done.
Do you think that
Right.
if she did kill him, she'd throw him over the bridge the way that they all threw Frank over?
Well, that didn't work last time, so
Right.
I think we need another plan.
But
Frank
they
is
didn't
a
stab
roach.
Frank before they threw him in.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Touche.
To be fair, I think she could have also had someone else take care of it. Like she like strangled him down, tied him up, and then was like, okay, put him
You
in the
do it.
truck and
But
take
then
him
the
off.
blood, though.
Or maybe
Yeah,
she
the
put
fight.
him back.
It's the
Didn't he
fight.
come in on like a cow truck?
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe she got him back on the truck and he's going back home.
to the slaughter.
I'm looking for the the sunny side of it. It was a really happy episode, guys. Like,
Yeah, no, it's definitely.
We like
It's
to
not
find
happy
out the
until
bad in
Kev
it.
can get over ghost cock.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my
See?
god. And it's like crazy. I'm like, you have 2 wives now. I think you're okay. I think thinking about another penis being involved shouldn't set you off too far. Like
This is why I love Kev though, because he does overthink everything
Yes.
so much. But that's why I love him, because half the time, like the stuff he's thinking is very valid. It just comes off
I
so
just
funny.
love how many questions he had.
Yeah.
Like, he is just so, like, we're all on the same page. We know what's happening. Like,
Oh, at
Yeah.
the bar, yeah, that was
so...
really funny. So you're married, but he's not married. Okay, so those two are married.
Yeah.
We're not married, and yeah, he's like,
Patience.
we all
See,
know.
even everybody needs a little bit of patience for Kev, too.
Yeah. But he's like that with everything. Just even when they had the kids, it's like, well, I have to change. She needs to be eat at this time, and they have to go to bed by this time. And it's like whenever he's given a challenge or something that he's just not used to, he just spazzes out. Yeah, he just spazzes. So I mean, I love that about him, because he's just this big hunky guy, but at the same time, when there's small, just minuscule things, he does
freaks out.
He's
Yeah.
like a gentle giant.
Yeah, he is. He is a gentle giant. I love Kev. I love Kev.
Yeah, he's a good one. He kind of looks like he might be helping Fiona a little bit too next episode in the laundromat. He would be my first go-to, I think, if I was having mechanical issues. Like, he's the one
sure.
big guy.
Yeah.
Bring him in, see if he can.
Oh, because he did.
Fix
He
anything.
fixed the motorcycle last season real
Oh,
well.
that's so true.
Yeah, no, he's definitely the guy.
God, that was one of my favorite scenes.
That was me too. when he just
The
keeps
guy
going.
lights on fire. I mean, it was like ridiculous.
Oh, and he's trying to blow from a distance. Like,
Yeah. And it's like, what do you do in that situation? Like, and I was thinking,
Run.
Kev, call the police, something, but he's just spinning in this wheelchair, just on
yeah,
fire. And
like,
I'm like,
round and round we go.
Yeah.
No police ever involved in
No.
shameless acts
No.
on
Nope.
Shameless. Yeah, I don't know, but he's gonna be helping Fiona. Fiona has so many issues already with this
Yeah.
laundromat, and I don't think it makes it any better that she's keeping. What is the lady's name?
Edda.
Oh,
Ed-
Edda.
I don't think it helps at all that she's keeping Edda around, or just
Yeah.
kind of letting her sit there. But
And eat
she's
her dog
hysterical.
She is
Edda
literally
is hysterical.
Oh my gosh. With
Like
the cat,
when-
I mean, the cat food, though. I just like, I got a pain in my side thinking about how
It's
gross
so,
that
yeah. And I'm like, how far gone are you?
I
Edda?
loved
Like,
that scene with Fiona, though. That
Yeah.
whole thing of like, stop eating it. And then when
Yes.
she's in the bag and she's like,
Yeah.
Edda,
But then
stop, I'll get
then-
you a sandwich.
Right, and it's
That
like
was
and she
my
knows.
favorite Fiona moment.
But then Edda goes,
Here
she
she
Right.
is.
takes one more bite. Oh, I was like dry heaving because
Yeah.
that stuff smells like shit. I hate wet cat or dog food. It's
Yeah.
like I don't care. Feed your
I know
animals
exactly
kibble.
what I'm sending her after this.
Right.
Send it with a ribbon around it.
Right.
Thanks for
Fancy,
having
fancy
me.
feast.
Oh yeah, that stuff is awful.
She's like the stereotypical old woman with just all the cats and
And just flipping people off,
Yeah,
you know? Just like,
that's so
tell
awesome.
someone who
Yeah.
gives a shit.
I hope
Alright.
they keep her around because she is just the old humor that we need. Like
Yeah.
she's just so far gone. Like I don't know. Like
I think that they're adding a lot of like really a good positive amount of people. It's uplifting. That's the word that I was looking
Yeah.
for.
Yeah, definitely. This whole season has been very uplifting. I feel like there's not very many
Yeah.
dark moments. We don't have that many episodes left, also, so I don't really know.
Isn't that mind blowing, or is that just for me?
No,
'Cause, I
it's
mean, we're on
mind-blowing for
707
me.
out of 12. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
We're getting
coming.
close. But
It
that's
happened
why-
with
That was
Californication. that
so
another
frightening. It's coming.
No, because season 3 of Californication was so happy, la-di-da, and the last episode, you're like, what the?
Yeah.
And so they're luring us. They're doing something different, unlike every other season, and I'm just
Well,
preparing for it.
We get it.
I just
You're
want you to know.
expecting the worst.
I am. Listen, who knows what's
Dark.
happening with Carl?
Should we expect the worst?
Oh my
Oh my gosh, but
God.
see, even Carl's doing well for himself.
Carl
he went to
is.
military school.
I'm so proud of
Oh,
Carl.
yeah.
He's
So-
coming back a man.
We didn't see
Better
Carl,
be.
but we
We
did.
saw him come back from prison, so
Oh my gosh.
Which by far, that was some of my
That
favorites.
was amazing,
Carl
right?
I was.
His dreads.
I'm glad V had that conversation with him though. And he was
About
like,
his dreads?
well, about just like you can't just walk around. Like she
Yeah.
kind of Rachel Doles on him. Like, look, you can be with the program, but
Yeah.
don't think that you can just imitate the
She-
culture.
Yeah, she handed that to him hard.
Yeah,
too.
exactly. And I was happy that as a black woman, V took that stance. Like, look, I love you, but I need you to take it down.
But
Yeah.
don't.
yeah,
But
yeah.
didn't she also say like, "I'll beat the shit out of you if you don't stop"?
Right,
I'm pretty
exactly.
sure, like,
You know, in a very loving way.
yeah, very.
Right. Because immediately, like, and I love Carl, and when I saw him come out with the braids, and I just said, okay, all right, I know where this
I
is
loved
going. now.
watching him walk
Yeah,
through prison
and just
it was
giving a dance to
amazing. It was
everybody,
epic.
and just the respect. And I was like, okay, Carl, this is different, but yeah, that route that he went on, and then just with the girlfriend.
I loved him in 706 personally. Like I thought that it was such a teeny tiny little thing. I'm going like, you guys need me around the house.
Yeah.
Why? I pay for
bought
it.
it.
Yeah, but yeah. It's like,
Yeah, but he came
Get
in
it,
when he
Carl.
needed to, and I was really happy.
Yeah.
I was proud of Carl. I was like, okay, come on, take your stance and like just be that. He came in just in the right moment, and I didn't expect him to do that with this rainy day fun that
Well,
he
we
keeps.
didn't see him at all this episode, but we did see at the end of last episode scenes for, in the
Right.
future, and
goodness.
he's beating the shit out of somebody already at military school. So I'm excited to see that storyline come back.
yeah, there's a darkness that you're searching for.
Oh,
That's right.
I mean, I saw Lip kind of getting into a fight too, and then the ceilings were falling. Fiona looked like she was having a mental breakdown.
She was
She's
at that
always
point just
having
like
a mental breakdown.
bring on
Understandably,
because
because her life is hectic as all hell.
Oh no, it is. I knew she was gonna lose her shit when Deb was like, "I'm keeping the baby." Like I
I love
immediately,
it.
yeah, because I was happy that she stuck with it like Deb, and that's why like in this episode she was so
Damn,
harsh
Debbie
with
would-
her.
Yeah.
But I'm happy that Fiona's doing that though. It's like, Deb, I love you, but you brought this on yourself, and as much as I would love to be there for you through all of this,
And she told her that too when she got pregnant.
exactly,
Remember that? She was like,
exactly. Like I'm letting you know now. this is you.
Right.
I'm not gonna stay up later to take care, and just like how Deb just is so entitled, and just the way she came into the laundromat is like, look, we have to be at the court in 45 minutes. I need to get married. Like, it's just all Deb.
Well, let's talk about Debbie and Neil. They're the last couple that we haven't really spoke about yet. We had a really heartfelt moment with the two of them as she's giving him, a
was so
bath.
sweet.
And I even turned to you when Neil was like, I love you, Debbie. And she was like, I love you too. And I was like, oh my
I
God.
know.
Yeah.
Both of us at the same time. Oh.
Yeah, especially after she had already said, like, it's nice talking to someone who I know is not lying.
Well, and he's like my favorite.
Oh my gosh, that
cast
little
member.
wave outside. Get a ramp. This.
He's like, his timing, his comedic
Yeah.
timing on everything is just really funny.
Yeah.
They're really good for each other. It's a good partnership you have
Yeah.
there. So.
Absolutely.
But don't you? It's kind of that's the whole season, sort of. That's what I'm saying about Ian and Trevor too. It's like everybody's getting matched kind of
And they're
well.
getting their person. Yeah, I think you're right.
And I think she keeps the baby.
You end this. You.
I think she keeps the baby, but what happens to you?
Oh, I know. I'm going
right.
to the curb, clearly.
You know,
Oh,
like,
my baby.
Which, by the way, if that happens, like, I really want Debbie to understand, like, she's literally doing the same thing that Fiona did to her,
Exactly.
but for no reason whatsoever.
Exactly.
Yeah, why is
It's a little bit harsh, that scene, and how she's speaking to Lucas about, like, it was harsh.
Well, and it's like, why is your character allowing her to kick? They're not married yet, and it's your brother's place. Like, you're
Right.
still allowed to live there.
And you've been there
I have
longer.
opinions about it, and I'll stay quiet because they're
Don't
dark.
stay quiet.
They're
You can't say dark
Oh,
opinions.
wait, you.
the eyebrows, though.
I know. No, it's just because, like, she spoke to Lucas really badly, and, like, she pretty much forced Neil out of the room, like, go. And she's pouring things that are smoking out of the drain. It's like, calm down, Debbie. Take a deep breath. Everything will be fine, hopefully.
Yeah. Her transition as a girl, though, is like perfect. It's so dead on with her being a teen and just going through all these emotions. And honestly, like,
It all started when she tried to drown the chick in the pool.
man, no,
That was the switch.
I think it's what
That would
set
definitely switch something.
The joy that she had at almost murdering somebody at the bottom of the pool.
yeah.
Debbie changed in that moment.
See, I felt like when the saddest moment for me to watch through like the entire show was when Frank had stepped on her house that she had built. And,
Oh, gosh.
And Frank,
Oh, I cried, honestly.
I did too, and I think that's when Deb just lost it. And
I think
she,
Emma's brilliant as an actor.
She is.
She's really good. I mean, I'm sorry, sidebar. Like, all of them are brilliant in their own ways, and they all have these, like, really specific individual things about them that are so great.
Can you push your mic up so we can hear you better? There we
Emma, though.
go. Much better.
Emma, though. It's what you just said. How she's transitioned over the years.
she's had a very hard task of emulating what it is to be a teenager, going through.
And we've watched her grow.
Literally,
character,
and on the south side of Chicago, like you're dealing with so many different issues that are not normal to the regular life of a kid. And so her transition and just that scene when she lost it and started beating like just everything out of Frank, I knew that Deb was no longer going to be the same. And so this is kind of everything that she's, I mean, just like all the
That's
characters.
where that warning came from.
Yeah,
Leon.
exactly,
Yeah, like,
exactly. Yes, I did think that she stepped back in her mind and like, I was exactly you, Liam. Don't, Bill.
But even in this episode, like even though she's dealing with so much, she still is a teenager. The way she thinks everything is so dramatic and
over the top.
It's over, and again, like her situation is stressful. Like it is a dramatic thing, but she's just walking. She's like, "I need to get married today, blah blah blah. And this is happening.
DCFS
Fiona,
is
help
coming
me
now. We have to leave right now."
I'm like, you look like you're 17. Like that was me at 17. Like all
Like that,
yeah, for sure, for sure.
They're little openings that you see, and you're like, oh, there's the child.
Did she actually pass the GED, or was she just kind of saying that?
Oh, so that was a whole other moment where we were all kind of like, "Ooh, that really hurt Fiona." Because
I totally loved that because I
Me
hope
too.
she did. I mean,
I
like
think she
not
did.
against for like Fiona, but the fact that she just was like, I passed it. Like I got 2 questions wrong. It's like, see, because they're all so smart and like.
They
don't
all
get
have the
enough
potential
credit.
to be great.
Yeah,
they just
like,
don't do it.
I took it the same day. I've never studied for it in my life, but I passed it. Now let's go get me married.
Right, exactly.
how about that the counselor that was just like giving her the list of things that she could do, and she was like, "Well, what can I do without a GED?" And he was like, "Sex worker."
Yeah, I know the adults are just so like off. I'm like,
There's no sympathy. There's no softness.
yeah.
Well, is it more of a scared straight thing of listen, do this, otherwise this is the consequence?
But then
No,
there's
because
like
he didn't even try. Like, clearly he gave her the test right after that and was like, all right, here you go. And she, but I do think it was awesome that she just took it and passed it.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. And then
But I mean, Fiona, I feel like she did have to study for it for a long time,
Right.
because maybe every time she sat down, she was
and she's
the
been out
mother
of high
figure
school.
of that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Deb just quit, so
That's
it's
what's really depressing
yeah.
about that too.
Yeah, Fiona
Right.
was out of school longer than
Yeah, and
Right.
all of them, because have they said that to any of the others? Frank has been a good father at one point in time for all of them except for Fiona, I feel like. Because,
Yeah, definitely.
yeah.
Because he pretty much dropped off all the luggage on her.
And he just comes in and out as she's been growing up, but all of them are kids, you know what I mean?
Right,
So,
and she got to that point where it's like, oh, well, now you can do it, and she's been doing it for so long that Frank's like, look, you're good, you're fine, you don't need me.
Yeah. Well, let's get into some predictions for what's going to happen next week. There's usually lights. I always wait.
Oh, shit. I was like, oh my gosh, I hear music in my head.
Like, is this supposed
It's
to
the
happen?
aliens that we've been talking about.
Let's do it.
Phil, could you start us off with your prediction, please?
This isn't a prediction, but I'm excited that Lip is going back and trying to, regardless whether or not he goes into college, but he's appealing it and keeping his options. So
Yes.
I really like that. I'm excited to see that.
Predict whether you think that meeting goes well or not.
I think it does. I
Cool.
think it does. He's lining up, he's getting character witnesses as he's supposed to, and I think they're going to vouch for him.
Okay.
I think we're gonna see your character. I forget your name.
Sierra.
Sarah and Lip, as we saw in this episode, get serious, and I think they're gonna keep on doing that and be a good support system for each other. She's gonna push him to get back to school or get his life kind of in order, and he's gonna be support system with the kid and everything. So I'm excited about that.
I think that Fiona's gonna rock out the laundromat. I do think that there might be some issues between Lip, Sierra, and Lucas. Like, I don't know if Lucas is probably gonna kind of be like a burden on Lip maybe eventually. I think he's gonna have like maybe some selfish ways going into it. So. I think
Because he cut a potato and had a panic attack.
Right.
Right.
That can be really hard to do sometimes. Was it microwaves potato?
Maybe
I don't
panic
know.
attack was too hard.
I would make you predict, but
Yes.
you know what happens. I think that Svetlana is still lying, and that I don't know if he comes back, but I think we figure out either whether she did kill him or, what she actually did to him. But there's something that's still missing, I think, to that story. And then I also am predicting that Liam doesn't stay in that private school very long. But I really hope he does, though. I don't know.
think he will.
So
He's
we'll
a good kid.
I know he's
Yeah.
great.
Stay, please.
But he's also been hanging out with Frank a little too much. So you
Yeah,
never
but
know.
he's not bad. He's just always just there and cute.
But see,
Kinda.
that's like all of them. Like, they're all good, but they all have like, just even like in the first season when he's like, oh, Deb, she's amazing, and then they're showing like the video of her taking money and not actually using it for the charity. Like, it's like they're all great, but they just have
Right.
that one thing that just kind of knocks them off.
It's just their
Yeah.
survival skills.
Yeah.
They're just trying to survive. Let's, I want to talk a little bit about your personal career before we, wrap up.
I'm like
You've
partially choking right now, so I apologize.
got. You're
I was
welcome.
listening
You're
to all
allowed
of
to
you going
drink.
like,
Oh my gosh.
okay.
Good.
Yeah.
You're welcome to chug it if you want.
But if like a tear comes out of my eye, just disregard. Yes. Hi. What's up?
Yes. You have some other projects coming up. You want to talk about them a little bit?
I'm really excited.
Yes, I know.
Okay. So Shameless, yes, and I leave this week to New Orleans to start shooting Half to Death, which is a horror movie directed by Christopher Landon, and it's a horror movie that the main character continuously is dying, but then when she dies, she awakens again, like Groundhog Day, and
We knew what you meant. It's okay.
yeah. But yeah, that, and then Central Park is coincidentally another horror movie that I did, which is an indie that'll be coming out soon.
Do you have a really great horror scream? Is that what? Yeah, you do.
Do you want me to do it right into the mic, guys?
That was my next question. Well, that's awesome. when will so you start shooting? How long is that shooting for this new horror film?
I should be coming back around Christmas.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
not too long actually. That it all happens so quick.
I've heard a lot of spooky stories about New Orleans, so I'm excited to walk around it by myself late at night because that's what,
Have you ever been?
I went once, but it was for the World War II museum.
Oh, wow.
And and I just went and checked that out.
And the beignets,
Yes.
those big donut-like
the
things.
hurricanes.
Oh my gosh,
whatever,
yeah,
the
I did
powdered
have one
sugar.
of those, like right
You
before I
have
got
to,
on
I
the
think.
plane.
And then take a bag to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's awesome. Congratulations on all of the success with Shameless.
Thank you so much.
We're excited to see what else happens this season and when the dark stuff comes in,
It's
right?
coming. It's
I'm
coming.
going to tweet to you a lot as if anything dark does happen, I'm going to start being like, it's your fault, just so you know.
It's not my fault. It's the writer's fault.
Oh, well,
It's
thank
just
you
there.
Thank you
again
for having
coming
me.
in. And where can everybody find you, Ruby, on social media?
At Ruby Modine, and you can go to YouTube and SoundCloud to check out music videos and music. I'm on Twitter and Instagram, Ruby Modine.
Sweet. Thank you. Raquel.
You guys can check me out on Twitter, Instagram, all social media at Raquel Harris TV.
And you guys can find me on Instagram at Bonjour Juliet.
And follow us here at AfterBuzz TV.
You guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Hayley Clover. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to comment below on YouTube, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later!
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.